Okay. All right, so this goes back to the very first week of algebra. Don't y'all, we're in geometry. Geometry, don't y'all miss those days when y'all thought this was hard and it wasn't? Okay, so a plane parallel to AFE. Well, AFE is this back plane right here. So another plane parallel to that would be plane DHG. Remember, a plane needs to be 3 letters. Okay, you could put the C with it, it doesn't matter. Name all planes perpendicular to EH. EH is right here. Perpendicular would be DH, HG, EA, and EF. So I'm going to name all of those, I guess. Oh, I'm dumb. It says planes. Just kidding. Not lines. Name all planes. So perpendicular to that would be this whole thing, which is plane DHG. And it would be AEF. Okay. Name all segments skew to DH. What does skew mean? Like skew. Y'all can talk. It's fine. Like talk to me, not to each other. DH, it's when they're not parallel and they don't touch. So DH is right here. The other lines that's not parallel to it but don't touch it are EF, FG. Don't forget your line above it. BF is actually parallel to it. A what? AB and BC. Perfect. Okay. Name all segments parallel to FG. Well, here is FG, so parallel to that would be BC is the obvious one, but what's the not so obvious maybe? AD and EH. All right, name the base of this prism. Do I give you, or what kind of prism is this? It's a rectangular prism. Do I give you what the base is? No, so in this case it would just be the bottom. So it's going to be FGCB. Cool. And the length of the diagonal. How do you find the length of a diagonal? That's going to be, the diagonal is the square root of length squared plus width squared plus height squared. What's my length? 5. And what else? What's my height? 12. And I don't know what all that is. So 36 plus 144 plus 25 gives me 205. And is 205 square root? Remember, you're not talking. It just leaves it like that. Okay. Do I have units anywhere on here? Nope. Yep. All right, next, number 7. It says a horizontal cross section. What does that mean, cross section? When I say cross section, what do I mean?
Where the section crosses.
I am like cutting it in half, and then like remember you stamp it on a paper. So horizontal is like this. If I cut that and stamp it on a paper, what image am I going to see on my paper? A circle. I'm horizontal. If it was vertical, you'd be right. But horizontal is a circle. Okay, if you have a cone in your hand and you cut, yeah, the whole cone. Not this. You were thinking 2D. I'm talking 3D. All right. Sandy's bedroom is 14 feet by 12 feet with 10-foot high walls. She wants to paint her bedroom. How many paint cans would she need to purchase if she covered 300 feet? Question. What do you paint? So what is that called? Lateral. What's my formula for lateral area of a prism? pH. So, the base is going to be the 14 feet by 12 feet. If I have 14 by 12, what's going to be my perimeter here? 52. All right, and what's the height of my prism? 10. So what's 52 times 10? 520. Cool. Is that my answer? Why not? Divide it by 300, and when I divide it by 300, I get something like, what was it? Okay. 1.733. Okay, so I don't think I had any in this class, but some people in my other class on the assessment gave me that's how many cans. Why is that wrong?
Because you can't have that 0.7 of those cans.
You can't have half a can.
Can't have 0.7 or half of a can. You have to buy the whole can, so you're going to have to buy 2 full cans. By the way, yesterday on the assessment, the balloon problem, you should have rounded down for the balloons, because if you round it up, you can't fit another balloon in there. But for the cans, you can round up because you have to buy an extra can. All right, this one. I want to rotate it about the line x equals 0. Where x equals 0, what line is that? That's the y-axis. Remember, x equals is always vertical lines. So my y-axis, if I was to rotate this around my y-axis, what image would I get?
You get like the inverted version of a cone, right?
Okay, this blank area would be a cone. What would it be around?
Oh,
So it's a cylinder with what cut out?
a cone.
A cone. So it would be D. For this one, I have find the ratio of volumes of 2 spheres with surface areas blank and blank. If it's asking for a ratio on your test, you need to be making your chart. Now, what does it give me?
The surface area.
Areas. So it doesn't matter which one really goes first here. So I'm going to do 9 pi over 576 pi. Can I go between area and
You
volume?
have to go back to
No. You have to go back. So what am I going to have to do to go backwards here?
square root.
Square root it. And if I, oh, by the way, my pi's canceled. If I square root, and guys, y'all can just do that in the calculator using alpha y equals 9 over, was it 576? I get 1/8. So that's my scale factor is 1/8. What do I need to do now? Now, to go to volume, you got to cube it. 1/8 cubed gives me what? 1 over 512, which is my answer. So they have a ratio of, their volumes have a ratio of 1 to 512. Any questions? All right, on the other side of your front page, I have 2 similar solids. So again, you see the word similar as you probably need to be drawing this chart. And their volumes are 1715 and 6655 centimeters cubed. The lateral area of the larger one is 1,210. What's the lateral area of the smaller? So what do I have here? What am I given? The volumes. So it's their ratio of the volumes. Which one do I need to put on top? Why smaller? Because I'm trying to find the smaller solid, so I'm going to put the smaller volume on top. When I do that, again, can I go from volume to area?
No.
No, I'm going to have to cube root it. How do you cube root in your calculator? Math 4, and then I'm going to do alpha y equals to get that right there. And what's the cube root of all that? 711. So that's my answer? No. What do I want to know? What do I got to do now? I want to know the area. So what am I going to have to do? Square it. And when I square it, what is that going to give me? 49 over. Cool. There's my answer. That's my lateral area. Nope, I'm still not done. Why not? I have the larger one. This in your chart, those are just ratios. Those aren't your answers. So I have the larger one. Now I need to multiply it by my ratio to get what my smaller one is. So that times 49 over 121 gives me 490. And is that my answer? 490? Don't forget your units. And it's area, so it's centimeters squared. Okay? All right, number 12. Oh my gosh. Determine the perimeter area of a base, lateral area, surface, oh my goodness, and volume of a right prism with an equilateral triangle base, yeah. Okay, and the edge is 10. So I'm going to try to be an artist, and we all know how that usually works out, but I'm going to try. For me, not so much. But here we go. Oh, that's pretty good.
Wait, watch her mess up the last one.
Don't jinx me.
You jinxed yourself.
Look at that. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, so I know that the triangular base is 10, and I know it's an equilateral. I also know that the height of the entire prism is 18 centimeters. Do I have any questions about my beautiful picture?
No.
Okay, from here, how do I find the, what's the height of the prism? What's H? 18. They gave us that. Don't forget to include your units. What would be my perimeter of the base? 30 centimeters. Because I have an equilateral triangle and it's 10, 10, 10. How do I find the area of the base of this equilateral triangle? So, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Well, half, what's my base of the triangle? 10. What would be my height? How do I find the height of this triangle?
30, 60, 90.
It's, how do you know it's 30, 60, 90?
It's an equilateral.
It's equilateral. So, if I know this, what is this bottom part right here going to be? 5. And so what's my height going to be then? 5 square roots of 3. You need to know your 30, 60, 90 rules. Okay. So my big B is going to be half of 10 is what? Times 5 square roots of 3 is? It's 5. Oh, thanks, Siri. 25 square roots of 3 is my answer here. And we got to do centimeters squared because it's your area of the base. To find LA of a prism, what is that?
The lateral.
That's just pH. Well, what's my P? 30. What's my H? And what's 30 times 18? It is 540 centimeters, and it's area set squared. Well, how do I find my total surface area? pH plus 2b. Well, I know my pH is 540 plus 2. What did we say B was? 25 square roots of 3. Y'all, on your test, I need everybody to look up, please. Everybody. On your test, if you get to a problem like this and I ask for an exact answer, 540 plus 50 square roots of 3 is your exact answer. Don't forget your units. You cannot combine these because that's a radical, and a radical is not alike terms with this. Does that make sense? I may say on this problem, round to your nearest whatever. Then you could just put it in your calculator and you don't have to give me that answer. So your answer is 540 plus 50 square roots of 3 centimeters squared. Volume. What's my formula for volume of a prism? Big BH. We said big B was 25 square roots of 3, and my height was 18. When I multiply those, what do I get? Awesome. Thanks, guys. And it's centimeters what? Cubed, because it's volume. Also, somebody asked me, too, one day, they were like, Ms. Alvarez, how come I can multiply these and get one answer, but right here, I can't get one answer? Multiplication, you can. Right here, what am I doing? Adding, you can't. Okay? You can multiply radicals with net regular numbers, but you cannot add them. Yep. Yes.
On the top one, you multiply
1/2 BH.
on the very top question.
Yes. I multiplied this times that right there. Okay. All right, 13. The surface area of a right rectangular prism. Holy cow. Okay.
Crap.
I have a rectangle and another one. And I'm going to make a prism here.
It's not bad, actually. It's pretty good.
Getting good here, guys. Okay, it already tells me the surface area of the prism is 200 units. I want to know the perimeter, the area of the base, the height of the prism, and, if the base has a length of 7 and a width of 10. Oops, I did those backwards. Oh, well. Yeah, that's all I have. Cool.
Wait, which way is the front? Because I'm seeing it two different ways.
It don't matter. Anyways, so what do I have? Surface area. And what's the formula for surface area of a prism? Okay. Now, I know the surface area is 200. Could I figure out the perimeter of this base? Yeah, it would be 34?
Yes.
Okay. Do I know the height of the prism? I'm just going to put H. Do I know the area of the base? 70, because I multiply length times width. And then can I just solve for H here? Okay, cool. I'm going to do that. Are y'all following me? Okay. Make sure I don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, we are.
30 over 17? That looks good. So do I have any units? Oh, it's just units. So my height is 30 over 17 units. Oh, we already figured this out. What was the base? 70 units squared. And what was the perimeter? 34 units. Cool. All right. Find the area of a base, the base edge, the perimeter, and the surface area of a regular hexagonal prism. All right. Yeah. Here's where my pretty pictures end. Whew, that was stressful.
Oh.
Okay. So. Okay. That is the last thing I should be, is an art teacher. Okay, so there's my pretty hexagonal prism. Now, what do I know? Okay, I need everybody to watch this one, please. My volume is 720 square roots of 3. What's the formula for volume? Okay, well, do I know anything else? Okay, so, thank you, equals big BH, and my height is 10, right? Yeah, so what do I then know that the area is of this? The area is 72 square roots of 3. Well, cool. And what are we doing? Inches? Squared. And my height is 10 inches. How do I find anything else if all I know is the area? What? Say it louder. 'Cause. How do you know it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle? It's a hexagon. Remember, what's this right here called? Apothem. And remember, when you make the apothem in the side, girls, remember you have to do 360 divided by 6 divided by 2. So what's this angle up here become? So I'm going to draw a zoomed in version of that triangle. It becomes 30. Do I know what the apothem is? Do I know what the base is?
No.
No. I don't know anything. Watch. I'm going to call the base X. So what is the apothem going to become? X square roots of 3. And then I know the formula for big B is what? 1/2 apothem times, if this is X right here, what's the whole side right here? No, whole side. 2X. And then what is the perimeter? 12X. Equals 72 square roots of 3. Well, what cancels? Square root of 3 cancels. Okay. Hey, what's half of 12? What's X and X? And what can I do? Divide. And what's 72 divided by 6? And what's the square root of 12? That gives me 3 times 4. What's the square root of 4? 2 square roots of 3 is my X. Okay. Ask me questions. No questions? Okay, so if I know that that is 2 square roots of 3, what's my whole base down here? 4 square roots of 3. So that's what the little b stands for. And then what would my perimeter then be? 24, because there are 6 sides. 24 square roots of 3. And so then can't I find SA? Ooh, this is ugly. Let's see. That's going to be PH plus 2B, which will be, perimeter is 24 square roots of 3 times the height plus 2. I guess that's not that ugly. 72 square roots of 3. That gives me 240 square roots of 3 plus 144 square roots of 3. Give me a second. And what's 240 square roots of 3 plus 144 square roots of 3? 384? Okay, what is your question, Miss Brianna? Okay, because if I know x is 2 square roots of 3, which is right here, don't you agree that's only half the side? Okay. What other questions do you have? All right, last one I'm doing with this class. I'm just doing this one. Find the dimensions and the diagonal of a cube whose volume is 729. So if I have a cube that has a volume of 729, what do I know about a cube? So my length and my width and my height are all what? So wouldn't it be length times width times height is x cubed is 729? What do? Cube root it, and I have no idea. What's the cube root of 729? It's 9. So my base is 9. How would I find the diagonal of this cube? Remember, the diagonal is the square root of length squared plus width squared plus height squared. Sorry. That ends up giving you 243. And I think 243 ends up being like 81 times 3, which is, oh man, my pen. 9 square roots of 3 feet. All right, cool. So now we're on the back. And so this is cylinders. So if so I'm going to draw a cylinder real quick. If the radius of the cylinder is 8 inches, so if my radius is 8 and its height is 20 inches, find the lateral area, surface area, and volume. So what's my radius? What does R equal? 8 inches. And don't forget tomorrow to label your units. Height is 20 inches. So what is the formula for lateral area of a cylinder? It's still pH. It's just like prisms. So, y'all, what is the perimeter of a circle, though?
2 pi r.
2 pi r. It's circumference. So 2 pi, my radius is 8. What is the height of the prism? 20. And then I can just put that in the calculator, and I think I get something like,
320 pi.
thank you, 320 pi. As I've been grading your homeworks, a big thing I'm noticing is y'all are forgetting to just add on pi, and you're like writing 320 inches squared. Like, I think you're so worried about units that you're forgetting to write pi. Don't forget, because if you just write 320 here, it's wrong. Now, total surface area is pH plus 2b. Well, we know pH is 320 pi plus 2. What's my area of my base? How do you find area of a circle? Pi r squared, which would be, what's 8 squared? Which would be 64 pi. Well, 2 times 64 is 128 plus my 320. That I can add them together because they both have pi's. So then I end up getting 448 pi. Oh, sorry. And then it's still inches squared because it's still area. Last but not least, I want to know volume. What's the formula for volume? BH, big BH. And again, what's my big B here? which is 64 pi. What's my height here? 20. And what's 64 times 20? It's a big number, and it gives me 1,280 pi inches cubed because it's volume. Next cylinder's question says, find the height of a right cylinder. And when you hear me say right cylinder, that just means it's straight down. There are cylinders that can be like slanted, but we're not getting into that in this class. So I want to know what the height is. If the base has a diameter of 24 and the volume is 2,160 pi. Well, what's volume? Big BH, or base times height. And what would my radius be here?
12.
My radius would be 12. So if the radius is 12, what's the area of this base?
144 pi.
Pi r squared, which is 144 pi times h. Do I know h? What do I know? It's 2,160 pi. Well, what cancels out?
Pi. So divided by 144.
And so I can divide by 144, and 2,160 divided by 144 gives me 15. And this is centimeters. Okay. That was a little bit easier. Hopefully cylinders should be pretty decent. Spheres. So find the surface area and volume of a sphere. So I'm going to draw a circle and then make it a sphere.
Bless you.
If the radius is 15 units, so if my radius is 15, what's the formula for surface area of a sphere?
4 pi r squared.
4 pi r cubed squared.
Squared. Okay, so 4 pi, what's my r? 15 squared. And 15 squared is 225 times 4 gives me 900. Don't forget your pi, and then we can just write units squared. Do we have lateral surface area of spheres? No. Volume. What's my formula for volume of a sphere?
4/3.
Biggest mistake people make with spheres is write 4/3 pi r squared. Volume is cubed. Okay, for a sphere. So then 4/3 pi, what's my r?
15.
And I'm going to have to do this in the calculator because, man, I can't do that. 15 cubed times 4 divided by 3 is that? I get 4,500 as my answer. Pi units cubed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do I have any questions? Okay. Next sphere question. Find the radius and the volume of a sphere whose surface area is 400 pi. So what am I given? Surface area equals what?
400.
Oh no, what's the formula? Sorry.
4 pi r squared.
If I know my surface area is 400 pi and it equals 4 pi r squared, what can I do? Divide by 4 pi, divide by 4 pi, those cancel, and I'm left with what?
100 pi.
100 equal, the pi's cancel, r squared. Square root it, and what's the square root of 100? So my r is 10 meters. How would I find volume now? Plug it in. I know volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi. I'm going to tell you, for some reason, your calculator doesn't like if you do 10 cubed times 4/3. For some reason, it still gives you a decimal. And if you hit math, enter, I don't know why this number in particular it doesn't work for. So what I've been doing is, what's 10 cubed times 4?
Divided by 3.
Divided by 3. it would be 4,000 divided by 3. I don't know why it won't give, like, it just won't do it. So I think it's because it's too big of a number. So your volume is 4,000 over 3 pi meters cubed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, good. Okay, next one. What is the volume of the largest spherical ball that would fit into a cube with the base edge of 12? So I have a cube. Y'all, last period, my pictures were on point.
Girl, yes.
Like, look. They were so beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Whoa.
Okay, anyways. So, let's see if I can get it good this period. So, we have a cube, and then we have
A sphere.
a sphere inside. Okay? And I want to know what's the biggest sphere that can be if I know my base edge is 12. Well, how does that help me?
12 times
You know
12
that
times
6
12.
is your
Divided
radius.
by 2.
Be careful. I want to know what's the largest volume of the sphere. That's the diameter of the sphere. So then what would be the radius? 6 inches? No, yeah. And if the radius is 6, then what would be my volume?
288 pounds.
4/3 pi r cubed. Wait, what? Yeah, just plug it in. So 4/3 times 6 cubed gives me 288, and then what's my answer? 288 pi inches cubed. Okay? Halfway done with the back. What's the difference in volumes of a cubical box and the sphere in the problem? So difference means what?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So which one's going to have a bigger volume, the cube or the sphere?
Cube.
So I'm going to have volume of the cube minus volume of the sphere. Well, how do you find volume of this cube?
EH.
Length. And what is all the length, the width, and the height?
12.
So it's going to be 12 times 12 times 12, which is 1720. It is 12 cubed. And then we just found the volume of the sphere was 288 pi. If I ask for exact answers, this is your exact answer. Exact answers have no decimals. But do I ask for an exact answer here? If you see something that says round your answer to the nearest thousandth, then I want you to put that whole answer in the calculator. Wow, what did I just do? Okay. You see how I put that whole answer in the calculator? And that's the answer I want on your paper.
It wouldn't work if we like did 288
So no, that's
Subtract it? That would be fine. Yeah. So I would get 823 point. Thousandths is how many places? 2, 2. It would be 1. What are we dealing with here? Inches cubed. That's their difference. Do I have any questions?
probably.
All right. Last side of your review. Pyramids and cones. These are, in my opinion, sometimes the easier ones. Okay. The altitude of a square pyramid. So if I remember to draw the square pyramid, to make it look nice, you kind of got to draw a rhombus.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well.
That's quite unfortunate.
Here is my square pyramid. Looking pretty nifty here. The altitude of the square pyramid is 15. Where would I write or draw that 15?
In the middle, down.
Straight down in the middle, it's an altitude. And the base edge has a length of 40. So my pyramid is 40. Determine the perimeter, slant height, lateral area, surface area, volume. Okay, cool. We have height, so I'm going to write that in. 15 feet. What would be my perimeter of this square?
40 times
160.
So 160, and it's just feet because it's perimeter. what would be the area of the base?
40 times 2. 40 times 40.
Remember, area is length times width, so it'd be 40 times 40, which is
1600.
feet squared. You're good, you're good. How would we find the slant height? Now let's remember, what is slant height?
Sliding.
Remember, if you're sliding down the pyramid and you don't want to hurt your behind. Yes. So you have to do Pythagorean theorem. Can you visualize with me that there exists
Triangle.
a triangle right here?
Yes.
Okay. Are you cool if I take that and zoom it out over here?
Yes.
Okay. What would this right here be?
20.
How come? Okay. It's half of that, so it's going to be 20. And then how would I find this? Okay, Pythagorean theorem or 15, 20, 25. This is 3, 4, 5. So what's my slant height? 25 feet. Now to get to the good stuff. What is the formula? What does lateral area mean?
That's what the base is.
No, lateral area, no bases.
No base.
No bases. What's your question? You would have to give me a radical. Because I suck. Okay. Up here, LA is, what's the formula?
1/2 PL.
Perfect. Y'all are going to have to memorize these. So half of, what did we say the perimeter was?
160.
And what did we say the L was?
25.
And half of 160 is
80.
Times 25.
80 times 25 gives me 2,000 is my lateral surface area.
Wait, you divided 160?
No, by half. I just did it in my head versus like putting, you can put it all in the calculator and it'll work. Do half times 160 times 25. It'll give you the same answer. Total surface area is 1/2 PL plus what?
2.
No, how many bases are there in a pyramid?
1B.
1.
2.
What?
2B. No, this is.
It's a pyramid. How many bases are there? 1 base, so it's just B.
Wait, when would we use the 2B?
2B is for prisms because there are 2 bases on a prism. By the way, people watching the video, if you didn't know, I did this with 2 different class periods. That's why they're confused. Okay.
Oh, that's kind of rude.
All right. Yes, it is. Okay. No, that's just how long we've been going. It's because I paused it for 20 minutes to talk to y'all. Anyways, back to this. We already know my 1/2 PL is 2,000, so I'm going to write that down. What was my area of the base? 1,600. So what's 2,000 plus 1,600? 3,600 or 3,600? The half, that's done right here, and we already figured all that out. Yeah.
Oh, I've done this.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Last but not least, hey, y'all stay quiet, please. We're almost done. My volume, what's the formula for volume of a pyramid?
1/3 base times height.
So doesn't that make sense that a pyramid is like not a full prism? That's why it's 1/3 of a prism. So I'm going to do 1/3. What's my area of the base? And what's my height? So I'm going to just put that in the calculator. 1/3 times 1,600 times 15 gives me 8,000 feet cubed. Okay? 3 more questions. We can do it.
Yes.
Find the perimeter and the slant height of a regular hexagonal pyramid with a base edge of 10 centimeters and a lateral area of 720. Guys, this was a lot like the one on your quiz. So I need you to pay attention because you will see this tomorrow. Ladies, it's a hexagonal pyramid, so I'm going to draw a hexagon. And it's not very great, but we're just going to have to deal with me not drawing a good picture for once. Hexagonal pyramid, not prism. Sorry, did I say prism? hexagonal pyramid. All right. From here, I know that the base edges of this prism are 10. And I also know that the lateral area is 720. What is the formula for lateral area? So if my lateral area is 720, do I know my perimeter?
Yes.
What?
60.
How?
Because you do 10 times 6, that's the hexagon, then you get 60.
Do I know L?
No.
How can I find it?
You
Draw a
take
triangle.
5 times the height.
Okay. What's half of 60?
30.
So I'm going to divide this side by 30 and this side by 30. What is my L going to equal? 24. So your L is 24. And what did we say P was? And that's all I want to know. Yeah. So half of 60 is what? So that would be 30L. So I just divided both sides by 30. Okay. Yes. You could multiply both sides by 2 and then divide by 60. Yep, perfect. All right. Could I then, just saying, I'm not going to make you do this, but could I then find the area of this base? How?
Little 1/2 AP.
You have to do 1/2 AP, and we know that it's a hexagon, so this is a what?
30, 60, 90.
So if this was 5, what would this be?
30.
And you could figure out from there the area and stuff like that. I'm not going to make you do that right now, and if you watch earlier in the video, you'll see me do that. But FYI, that will come up too. All right, last 2 questions. If the radius of a right cone, so let me draw my right cone real quick. So a right, it's fine like this. I'm just drawing this.
Just put a line in the middle and then.
Yeah. The radius of a right cone is 8 units, and the slant height is 17. Find the height,
Reverse of the that.
lateral area, surface area, and volume. It's just basically saying it makes a right angle with the height. Okay? R is 8 what?
Units.
Units. L is 17 units. And H do we know?
That's what we're trying.
No, but what do we know exists right here?
Right.
17, 8, and what?
I don't know.
So, Pythagorean theorem. 17 squared equals 8 squared plus h squared. And it is one of your special ones. It's not?
60?
It can't be special. That's disrespectful as possible.
Shut up.
Why were y'all in sync when y'all
Aren't you smart, Linda?
Okay.
No, don't. Oh, that's easy.
From here, I got to do my 3 formulas. Lateral surface area. Guys, what's similar about cones? They're exactly like what? Pyramids. Same formulas. 1/2 PL. So my perimeter, what would be the perimeter of this base? 2 pi. Oh, be careful. Perimeter. 2 pi r. What's 2 times 8? 16 pi. What's my L?
17.
So put that in the calculator. Half of 16 is?
8.
So that gives me 136 pi. Don't forget your pi. Units squared. Surface area is 1/2 PL plus what? How many bases are there? Just 1. So I already know I got 136 pi above. Plus, what's the area of this base?
Square, which is 64 pi.
Which is 64 pi. Can I add these together?
Yes.
Why?
Because they're both a pi.
They're both pi, so when I add them together, I get 200 pi units squared. Last but not least, what's my volume formula? 1/3 BH. So 1/3, what's my area of the base? Which is
Pi r squared.
64 pi. And what's my height of the prism?
15.
15. So 1/3 of 15 is times 64 gives me 320 pi units. FYI, tomorrow when I ask you to show work, if I just ask you for the volume, this would be perfect work to me. That. Okay? Formula, substitution, that's all I need.
Just ask for the volume.
Yeah, if I ask for the volume on something and it says you must show work, all you got to do is that.
What if it asks for lateral area?
Gavin, you don't solve it and let's see what happens. All right, last one, the volume of a cone. I meant for work shown. The volume of a cone is 392 pi. Volume formula is what? 1/3 BH. All right. Hey, y'all aren't talking, please. 392 pi equals 1/3. Do I know the area of the base?
The height is 24.
I don't know, so I'm going to keep it B. The height is what? 24. What's 1/3 of 24? So I'm going to divide by 8. And 392 divided by 8 is 49. So 49 pi is my what? Whoa. Is my base. Well, what is this base here? A circle, which would be what? Pi r squared. So 49 pi equals pi r squared. What can I do?
Solve it out.
Square. What's the square root of 49? So my radius is 7 feet. What was my height? 24. So if my radius is 7, my height is 24, what would be the slant height? How do you know it's 25? That's 3 special ones, or you can do Pythagorean theorem. Okay? Last but not least, I need lateral area is 1/2 PL. So half of, what's my perimeter going to be here? 2 pi r would be 14 pi. And what's my L? My L is 25, guys. Be careful. Height is 24. All right, so half of 14 is times 25 gives me, don't forget your pi. And so my SA would be half PL plus what? 1 base. Well, I know that's 175 pi plus, what's my base? Area of the base?
49.
49 pi. And 175 plus 49 is 124? No, 224? And that, my friends, is your next practice.
Thank you.